Wu Chen arrives at the place and we get to know it is the Shau Cafe in the Dengqing district. Wu Chen apologizes to keep him waiting for so long, waving his hand towards him. The double agent slams his hand on the table as he seems very furious with the double agent. With his men by his side with weapons in their hands asking Wu Chen if it was he who had a conversation over the phone. This person is Mang Janow, the owner of the Jang Nan Dragon Shield Security Group, a member of the Jang Nan Security Association Council, and the representative of the People's Congress in the Donghai City area. Wu Chen tells it was him and questions Mang if he is planning to have his subordinates listen to him speak about his unsavory matters and then go out to promote them on his behalf. Mang Janow is in rage as he rises from his seat and yet again slams the table and demands to know who the heck is he. Wu Chen is very calm, telling that he really dislikes it when someone uses foul language towards him, and it seems to him that Mang is not interested in having a civilized conversation with him today. So he tells them to forget it then and bids him farewell. Next then we hear Liir Ruat's voice over a phone call with Wu Chen telling what a coincidence he himself was going to call Wu Chen. Mang Janow is in a state of shock as he realizes the voice is Liir Ruat and that Wu Chen is his brother-in-law. The rumors circulating about his age and appearance matches as well, so he is indeed Wu Chen. Ruat asks Wu Chen if anything is wrong and whether he needs his help with anything. Wu Chen tells him that there is a traitor by Ruat's side and he needs to deal with it. Ruat asks about who the traitors are so that he can go and crush them right now, which makes the double agent Mang Janow sweat heavily in fear of the consequences as he kneels down and tries to beg for forgiveness. He even goes on to grab Wu Chen's leg for forgiveness, and Wu Chen mentions some other traitor with an employee of CO812 who was under his command. Ruat tells that he will first deal with the traitor and then continue their talk, so he will hang up the call first. Wu Chen asks the double agent if they can talk properly now. Mang Janow immediately agrees, telling that he is indeed his brother and asks him to go upstairs to discuss whatever he wishes. Wu Chen is sitting upstairs. Mang offers him some tea to drink by pouring the tea himself into the cup when Wu Chen gets another call. It is Lu Ganian and asks Wu Chen about his whereabouts. Wu Chen asks him if he didn't just make up with his wife as he has something going on. This makes boss Lu concerned that something is going on and tells him to send the address and he will come over there immediately. Wu Chen had planned all of these and just needs to borrow Lu Ganian's influence right now to make things easier to deal with. So, he tells that he is in the Donghai City Shutout Cafe second floor. Meng is terrified as he knows about boss Lu but tries to ask if another guest is coming, and Wu Chen tells that it is just a friend and not just to keep standing there and to have a seat. Meng also tells that it is okay with him standing and asks if Wu Chen has any instructions or anything. He may please go ahead with it. Wu Chen tells the double agent that he is really interesting as he became Ding Rulong's person 4 years ago, whereas constantly placed his trusted confidants as security guards in the companies and residential areas of Liir Ruat and Liir Ruat. But, 6 months ago, the truth was exposed in Liir Ruat's camp and Meng narrowly managed to escape from the barrel of Ruat's gun. After which he immediately turned around and sold himself to Ding Rulong. Meng immediately interrupts Wu Chen and begs Wu Chen to please stop talking about it and he can just give his direct instructions regardless of its feasibility. He would carry them out for Wu Chen. Wu Chen tells that he remembers that Ding Rulong would soon send someone to target him. Meng denies it, saying that dealing with Wu Chen is not under his responsibility, so he does not know anything about it. Wu Chen knows that Meng is only responsible for investigating his activity, so he tells Meng to listen carefully. He tells that either Ding Rulong or his closest confidants would soon contact him. So, if he wants to survive, then he should do whatever they arrange for him to do. Meng asks if he should inform Wu Chen about their moves in advance so that Wu Chen can stage a performance or something, but Wu Chen denies, saying there is no need for it and he just needs to do his own thing. He also instructs Meng that there is no need to inform Ruat about it as it is the only way for him to survive. Meng cannot digest the fact that if he does not have to do anything, then why did Wu Chen approach him, and if Wu Chen knows that something is going to happen to him in the next few days, then why is he not taking any action, or is Wu Chen just waiting for his death? Wu Chen tells him that he doesn't need to understand about it as they are all insignificant and will pose no threat to Wu Chen. The reason he came to meet him was because he felt that Meng was slightly more interesting than the rest. So, he just needs to help him to deliver something to Ding Rulong, not now but will be informed. Just then Brother Lu enters the cafe and greets Wu Chen. He angrily asks Meng if it was he who brought so many people downstairs to cause trouble for his brother. Meng tries to deny it, stating it was a misunderstanding and he didn't bring anyone with him. Wu Chen calms down Brother Lu, saying that it is no big deal and Brother Lu is just jumping into conclusions very fast as they are all friends here. Meng agrees with Wu Chen and tells that they have already sorted out the misunderstanding. Lu Guanyin tells that Wu Chen doesn't need to be polite as Wu Chen's problems are also his problems and he would tear anyone apart who tries to harm Wu Chen. This is all that Wu Chen needed, as once the influence of Lu Guanyin is borrowed, his image will drastically improve. Since Meng is the person in the scene now, his perception of Wu Chen will change, knowing that Wu Chen has his connections even without the support of Liir Ruat. Just then Wu Chen's phone rings and when he picks up the call, he hears Wu Chen crying over the phone. This makes him concerned for her as he asks if anything has happened to her and gets to know that she is in front of his house. Wu Chen is the girl whom Wu Chen met in the bar in the first part. So, he takes a leave from Brother Lu and Meng, saying that he has got something to deal with and would see them next time. Meng on the other hand notices that the woman's voice was not of his fiancée Liir Ruat and seems impressed with Wu Chen's ability. Wu Chen is driving the car back to his house as he tells her not to cry and tell him what has happened. Wu Chen tells that her parents to send her abroad to study. Wu Chen confirms to her if she was crying just because of this reason, and Wu Chen tells her that she doesn't want to go abroad as no one can help her there and tells Wu Chen to come back quickly. Wu Chen tells her that there is a spare key on the side of the electrical meter box near the front door and she can go inside the house and wait for him till he arrives. Not long after Wu Chen entered Wu Chen's house did Su Qing arrive with her bodyguard holding 2 bags of groceries to treat him and celebrate her success in today's board meeting. But she suddenly realizes that she does not have the key to Wu Chen's house. Her bodyguard informs her that the doorknob can be lock-picked and she can enter the house first and they will arrange someone to repair the lock after it. Su Qing agrees to it and tells them to proceed. They try lock-picking Wu Chen's house door and succeed in doing so as the house door opens. Wu Chen is surprised by the door opening and Su Qing is also surprised to see Wu Chen in Wu Chen's house when she enters. After Su Qing enters Wu Chen's house, she questions how is Wu Chen at Wu Chen's house and whether he is not at home. Wu Chen tells her that Wu Chen is not there and he had asked her to wait for him, so she used the spare key, but then she asks why is she in his house. Su Qing's bodyguard wanted to enter but Su Qing tells that they are friends. So, Wu Chen invites her into the house since they all are friends. Miss Su asks why did she come over to his house. Wu Chen is in her own world of thoughts as she saw Miss Su changing her slippers so skillfully, and her tone and emphasis on questions were very strange, which means that something is not right between Miss Su and Wu Chen. Su Qing calls out her name, which takes her out of her thoughts as she tells that she just arrived a few minutes ago. Miss Su understands, so she asks if Wu Chen informed her when he is coming back, to which she tells that he will be arriving soon. Miss Su also invites her to have a seat and not to just stand like a statue, and in the meantime, she put down the things she brought. This makes Wu Chen jealous of the way Miss Su is showing off to her as she asked her to sit, and she doesn't feel right, and the key point is that her tone is like she is the owner of the house. And imagines whether Wu Chen and Miss Su are really very close like a couple. 2 minutes later, Su Qing asks Miss Mu if she would like to drink something and tells her that she thinks that there might be only a few things in the fridge. Wu Qing notices that their things are even placed together and it seems like they have been living together for a while. So, she immediately calls out her name and asks if she is in an intimate relationship with Wu Chen. Su Qing, being smart, questions it back without admitting nor denying the possibility. But then Wu Chen realizes that it is equal to admitting it, which makes her shocked, as the First Lady of Donghai, who is widely recognized as the most beautiful woman in Donghai, is Wu Chen's woman. Seeing Wu Chen so shocked, Su Qing thinks that she won't be a threat at all. So she asks her about when did she meet Wu Chen. Wu Chen tells her that she met Wu Chen just a few days ago. A few days ago, earlier than me, then I should call you big sister, said Su Qing, taking Wu Chen by surprise. Su Qing tells her to leave it and proposes to get along well with each other. It is late in the evening and there is a huge traffic jam, which makes Wu Chen very frustrated as it is already very late. He finally reaches his house 2 hours later and inserts his key to open the door, but smells an aroma of food, thinking if Wu Chen can cook as well. He is in a daze as he sees Su Qing and Wu Chen happily talking together as Su Qing instructs the other one to be careful and slow down. As they see Wu Chen entering, Miss Mu is the first one to greet him, and then is Su Qing, who calls Wu Chen her husband and tells him that he came back just in time and he should go and wash his hands and eat dinner directly. Wu Chen questions Su Qing as to how her name changed to little sister when she was being referred to as the elder one a moment ago. They tell her that she is small, which makes her question which part of her is small. Mu Chen grabs Wu Chen by his arm and tells him that she wants to talk about an important matter and why did Su Qing call him as her husband and when did he get together with Su Qing. Wu Chen asks her what she means by get together as it seems very derogatory. Mu Chen is very jealous so she requests him to please tell her about it and makes a cute face he cannot resist. Su Qing interrupts them and tells them to talk later and firstly wash their hands as it is time to eat. Mu Chen tells that she knows and thinks as to how did she automatically become a younger sister again. They are all eating dinner over the table. Wu Chen asks her if there were any major mistakes in the board meeting as even though he knows the result, he is still curious as to how it went. Su Qing tells that it went exactly as he had predicted, and it was spot on without any difference making Wu Chen happy that it went well. And there is the red boiling face of Mu Chen watching them. She cannot bear it anymore and gives it in telling that she doesn't care that the two of them are showing so much affection in front of her but is he really not going to tell her? He asks if Kuang Ying didn't already tell her about it and if not, why doesn't she take a guess? Mu Chen is provoked so she tells her that if he is not going to tell her about it then she won't go home today. Wu Chen mockingly tells her that it is all up to her, but Mu Chen had other plans as she rushed towards another room as a gust of wind and sat on their bed telling them that she wants to sleep on that bed thinking about what can they do to her now. She gets surprised when she sees Kuang Ying sitting on the bed beside her and tells Wu Chen that she is fine with it. Wu Chen tells that then they all can just sleep on the bed together and luckily his bed is big enough for all of them which makes Mu Chen really puzzled at how it turned out to be. It is the next day and we see all three of them still sleeping on the bed all cuddled up together. Ma-man truly enjoying life, success, and blessing all at once. Mu Chen tells that she was very tired last night so she need to sleep for a little more. Ruo Bing is on the phone as she tells him to come to the company quickly. Wu Chen takes over the phone and asks about what has happened as he gets to know that Liir Ruat Bing's father is coming to the company. Wu Chen is all chill as he asks what the rush is in it as he gently pats Kuang Ying who is cuddled up to him. Ruo Bing is furious as she orders him to hurry up and come to the office as, if they mess up this time, all their previous efforts will be wasted to which Wu Chen agrees and tells that he will be there soon. Wu Chen hasn't arrived yet so Ruo Bing is yelling over that it's been over 40 minutes already and he had said that he would be there soon. She tells him to quickly zip up the back of her dress and then they proceed to meet her father hand in hand. Her father and Ruatai were waiting for both of them so, Ruatai tells that why is he late since their father had been waiting for them for so long. Ruo Bing asks her father about his sudden visit without even giving her a call about it. We see the death stare of the Li family's eldest son, the father of Li Ruo Bing and Li Ruatai who is also going to become the future head of the Li family. Her father asks whether she wanted to get a call so that she could prepare herself to face him. Ruo Bing tells that it is not that and what's with the sudden visit. Her time has not come yet and to leave her to how she is. Her father is angrily telling her that she can't even take care of her little brother and now there's this and won't even let him be at Donghai. She asks how could it be her fault and this goes on. Ruatai is all pissed in between their feud and tries to stop their fighting every time they meet each other. Ruo Bing realizes that Ruatai is right and it is not the time to argue. Wu Chen helps her get up holding his hand as she officially introduces her boyfriend Wu Chen to her dad, all stuck to Wu Chen's body. She calls Wu Chen her darling and tells him that the old man is her dad and he can also call him uncle for now as he can change it once they get married so, Wu Chen greets her father telling that it is nice to meet him. Ruo Bing's father is still giving the death stare which makes Ruo Bing worried about what's going on with her dad. Ruatai on the other hand can only apologize since he cannot help her with this matter as their dad looks even scarier than when he arrived at Donghai. His father shouts at Ruatai telling Ruatai whether he is trying to fool him by teaming up with his sister as he slams the paper on the table with his hand. Ruatai tries to explain that he really tried to find out whatever he could about Wu Chen and he has mentioned all of Wu Chen's records which he found from being born to his study details. His father gets up telling that he won't trust a single piece of information as he is not the real Wu Chen as the real Wu Chen is probably dead and he is using a fake identity. And that is why there is nothing even after his investigation. Ruatai tells that there is no way about it since when he ate with Wu Chen, he got his men to run a DNA test of Wu Chen's used chopsticks with his parents' DNA and it is truly him. So, his father tells that then the only possibility is that it is one of Ruo Bing's awful gimmicks again like all the previous ones. And all the things done by Wu Chen during the past few days in Donghai must be pre-planned by his sister. So, the old man is determined on breaking through all of their lies. The old man tells Wu Chen to have a seat and guesses that he has just graduated, with makes both Ruo Bing and Ruo Tai shocked by their dad's changed expression and speaking tone, thinking whether he is playing with them. Wu Chen sits down and agrees to it, telling that he is currently working at her daughter's company. He is asked about his major in the university and his future plans, to which he tells that he majored in computer science and for now he is thinking of getting Ruo Bing's company listed first. The old man tries to act all cool as he laughs out, referring to Wu Chen as an ambitious kid, and asks about his hobbies. Back in his mind, the old man knows that Wu Chen's answer is the same as what they could find and thinks to change the direction of the conversation to know if it was set up. Wu Chen tells that he has a lot of hobbies such as calligraphy, art, music, kickboxing, cars, and so on. Ruo Bing knows that it is the first time that her dad has been so detailed, and one wrong move from Wu Chen could end it all. Wu Chen also adds guns in the end, which catches the old man's attention. Ruo Bing knows that there is no way Wu Chen would be able to come in contact with guns with that kind of family background and wonders how could he make such a dumb mistake. Wu Chen tells that boys are usually interested in guns when they are young, and after growing up he learned more about the basics of guns through the internet and was even able to find some gun blueprints while he was in computer majors. But, he did touch a gun before. During his 10th class, he did make a gun model by himself with wood and got all the components correct. So, he thinks that he is quite knowledgeable about guns. Ruo Bing is all worked up as she cannot understand what Wu Chen is trying to do and whether he is trying to get into trouble intentionally or what. The old man asks Ruo Tai whether he has his gun on him and asks him to pass it on to Wu Chen. So, he gives it to Wu Chen and the old man asks him about what he knows about that gun. Wu Chen tells that it is a Type 94 made to replace the Type 54, which was designed and manufactured during the 94s. There's a police use and a military use for this gun. The barrel in the police guns is more on the block rotating side, whereas the military one is more on the half blowback rotating side with small recoil, which is more precise. Ruo Bing questions herself as to what is Wu Chen trying to do, or is it because he knows that her dad was in the army and likes guns? Whether he is trying to shape an impression of a deep gun lover who bonds similar interests as her dad. Wu Chen goes one step ahead with his show as he releases the magazine and tells that according to the weight of the magazine, there are probably 6 bullets in it. So, he tosses out all the bullets from the magazine and gets it all correct. Ruo Bing thinks that since he showed that he can precisely determine the number of bullets that are in the gun just with the weight as someone who was in frequent contact with the gun, and whether he is trying to expose himself. The old man finally got Wu Chen exposed, but soon realizes that Wu Chen himself tried to expose himself, which means that he had been lying the entire time, which makes the old man even more suspicious of him. And that Wu Chen trying to prove himself suspicious is all his plan, as he needs to be extraordinary to be his daughter's boyfriend, extraordinary to mess the Donghai city. Which means that he is actually in a real relationship with his daughter. Having a look at both of them, he has another problem, since Wu Chen is a random man who might have a special force behind him. So, he needs to know his objective beforehand. The old man, after thinking so much, praises Wu Chen for being talented. Wu Chen tells that it is alright, or else he wouldn't have fallen for his daughter. Hinting that Ruo Bing is also very talented. And cheerfully asks the old man if they can have a private talk with one another. Ruo Bing grabs Wu Chen's arm, asking about what kind of private talk is it that needs to have her excluded from their conversation, but the old man orders Ruo Bing to go outside with her brother. Ruo Bing is adamant and denies leaving the room, wanting to know about their secret conversation, but her father reminds her that it is her boyfriend Wu Chen, who wants to have a private talk, so she shouldn't get so worked up. Wu Chen comforts Ruo Bing, placing his hand on her hand, telling her that it would be hard for them to speak about some matters, as they would have to take into consideration of her feelings in that case. Ruo Bing understands and gets up, referring to Wu Chen as her darling, telling him that in this case, she would listen to him. Ruo Bing walks out of the room and Ruo Tai also takes a leave along with her. Ruo Bing questions her brother if he has surveillance in the room or not, and so they go to watch them via surveillance. The old man is impressed that his daughter really listens to Wu Chen, to which Wu Chen tells that he has always been reasonable with her, and gets up from his seat, asking the old man to give him a moment as he goes on to destroy all the surveillance cameras in the room. Meanwhile, in the surveillance room, Ruo Bing is questioning her younger brother about why are the cameras not working, to which Ruo Tai replies that they might be some cheap ones, but they still got a few in the room. Wu Chen is in no mood to let them listen to anything from the room as he removes all the surveillance planted in the room. Wu Chen had just started to speak to the old man, but the old man points the gun at the back of his head, demanding to know Wu Chen's real identity and his reason to appear by his daughter's side. Ruobing questions Liir Ruat about being unable to see Wu Chen and her dad as they could see them clearly just a few moments ago. Ruat tells that he has no idea in this regard. We are brought back to Wu Chen and the old man, where Wu Chen mockingly tells that the old man is really from the same family, since both his children had previously pointed their guns at him like how he is doing at the moment. He calls the old man his uncle, telling that he bets that there is no ammo in the gun. The old man of the Li family puts down his gun on the table, telling that Wu Chen is quite a courage, referring to him as a young man. He drops all the bullets from his other hand, telling him to stop beating around the bush and to tell him his purpose of being in a relationship with his daughter. Wu Chen tries to provoke him, telling him that he is in love with Ruobing and would want to have kids with her, and whether anything is wrong with it. The old man understands that since he is saying such disrespectful words to his face, it means that Wu Chen is not scared of him. So, he tells Wu Chen to directly come to the point. Wu Chen speaks it all out, telling that he doesn't think the old man really cares about his daughter and only cares about the well-being of the family. He is a dad who knows about the type of person Ding Rulong is, but still wants to marry his daughter to him. Wu Chen questions whether he isn't afraid that Ruobing would just shoot a point right through Ding Rulong's head when she would get angry. The old man is provoked as he fumes in rage, questioning whether Wu Chen is trying to lecture him. Ruobing, on the other hand, is worriedly curious about their conversation, and after some thought, she tells her younger brother that they would go to the room behind where they are talking. Ruobing is acting like a 2-year-old, trying to listen to their conversation through a glass cup, but is unsuccessful. So, she asks about why cannot she hear anything, and we get to know that Ruat had used the best soundproofing material when he got the room renovated. Wu Chen tries to sum it up, telling that Ding Rulong is a very stubborn person who cannot control his emotions, and tells that he doesn't think that Ding Rulong or his Ding family would live long. Asking the old man if he remembers Dong Yuan Tao. The old man replies that Dong Yuan Tao is a kid of another family, and he heard that Dong Yuan Tao had drowned and died 10 years ago. Questioning about why did he bring up that kid all of a sudden. Wu Chen with cold eyes tells that Dong Yuan Tao didn't drown but was murdered. The old man tells that it is impossible, since the Dong family's status is good, so they would have really found out about it if that was the case, and besides, why would the Ding family go after a high school kid? Since there is no proof, it makes no sense. Wu Chen says that he isn't talking about the Ding family but about Ding Rulong, and tells the old man to look into his phone, as the motive for the entire incident was this woman named He Shikuan. There were a lot of guys from rich families who wanted to pursue her but were rejected by her. But, she was very close with Dong Yuan Tao because of homework, and then that kid isn't alive. He explains that Ding Rulong had brought He Shikuan out and killed that boy right in front of her face, and now she is with Ding Rulong because she is afraid of him. Wu Chen also adds that he has been in contact with that girl, and he is confident upon her that she will testify in this regard. The old man is in a rage as he gets up from his seat, yelling at Wu Chen about what is he trying to do. Wu Chen goes on with his own smooth way as he tells him not to be agitated, and he's sure that the old man knows about what Wu Chen is trying to do. Ruobing's father knows that the Dong family has been going uphill for the past few years, and if this thing gets out, it will start a messy war between the big families. Since the Li and Ding families are now allies, they will also have to enter the war. Wu Chen tells that out of all the families, the Sun family is the biggest ally of the Li family, and since Ruobing is not yet married into the Ding family, their alliance with the Ding family is not yet complete. The old man thinks that Wu Chen was sent there by some other family to break off the Li family's alliance with the Ding family. Meanwhile, Ruobing has gone completely berserk and wants to drill a hole in the wall to listen to their conversation. Ruat tries to stop her, telling her that the soundproofing is very good, and if she tries to drill the wall, they will get noticed immediately, but Ruobing is in no mood to leave the matter, so she tells Ruat to find another way, which Ruat tries to decline, trying to leave from that place. Wu Chen tells her father that it is not what he thinks and that he is thinking of her daughter and the Li family. And the Dong family isn't a bad choice, since Song Yuan Tao's cousin, Dong Yakyu, has recently graduated from university and Ruobing would make quite a good pair with him. Her father tries to shrug it off, referring to it as a good joke, and questions whether he thinks marriage between two big families is that easy, and also that both the families do not have even the basic trust between them at the moment, and he wants to get them married. Wu Chen, looking at his phone, tells that if the old man thinks that it's okay, then he would act right away and believes that they could see the results in a week. The old man is stunned listening to Wu Chen's words, understanding that Wu Chen isn't joking, but it is not the right time to do a marriage into the Dong family. So he stops Wu Chen from acting out and demands he tells him about his objective first. Wu Chen with a cold look tells that he wants Ding Rulong to die since his Ruabing is very attractive and Ding Rulong will try his best to steal Ruabing from him. So, if he doesn't kill Ding Rulong, someone would die and there won't be any end to it. And so, Ding Rulong must die. The old man asks if he has the information to destroy the Ding family, to which Wu Chen agrees and tells that he can do it if the old man does not come to Donghai to disturb him and his daughter for half a year, and they make a deal. 2 hours later, the clumsy Ruabing is with a shovel in her hand to dig up the wall. Ruat tells her to stop digging since Wu Chen and his father are out. So, they rush to meet them. Grabbing Wu Chen by his arm, Ruabing tries to play it all cute, asking if her darling has finished the meeting, getting yes as an answer. Wu Chen asks the old man about his plans after this, to which he tells that he will be going back so they can have their time, and he immediately leaves in his helicopter. Ruabing grabs Wu Chen to herself and tries to seductively ask him about what he said to her father that he left so easily. But, Wu Chen's Sigma mode kicks in, questioning her if she is trying to act cute, as Ruabing once again makes a cat face, calling him sweetie, wanting to know about it. Ruat hurriedly leaves them both, bidding them goodbye. Ruabing is blushing as she tries to barter that if he tells her about their conversation, she might consider some stuff with him. Wu Chen asks if she really means it, but once again turns on his Sigma mode, telling that he is not feeling well for a couple of days as Su Qing has been very clingy and so he is very tired. Which makes her push him back, but she falls back yelling at him as shameless. But, Wu Chen catches her arm right in time like a hero from the 90s, bringing her close to his face and asking whether isn't she also shameless for acting like that too. Ruabing sighs off, still over Wu Chen, so our proto Wu Chen questions Ruabing if she is jealous, and if that is the case he will stop messing around with her. He tells her that he told her father about some detrimental dirt named Ding Rulong and also had a talk about the Wei family. He even told Ruabing about the story of Dong Yuan Tao and his Shirkuan, who were lovers, but later the boyfriend was killed by Ding Rulong and the girl was taken away by Ding Rulong. Ruabing seems happy as he understands that once the Ding family gets eliminated for their heinous deeds, there is going to be a new wave of people who would want Ding Rulong dead. So, she grabs Wu Chen's jacket with both her hands, pulling him closer to her face, praises Wu Chen and tells her that she should reward him for his work. Wu Chen replies sarcastically whether she is sure of rewarding him in public, as there are a lot of eyes watching them from another building. Ruabing is in no mood of giving up as she asks Wu Chen about why is he caring about others as he is her darling and is very remarkable. But despite that, he doesn't fall for her charms. Wu Chen asks her whether she herself didn't fall for him and whether it doesn't work as an advantage for her. Getting away from Wu Chen, tucking her hair back, she admits that he indeed has all the qualities of her eternal partner, especially with how capable he is. She admits that he is correct as she has fallen for him. Ruabing acts like a cute cat, telling Wu Chen that she won't become his submissive cat just because she has fallen in love with him, but rather he will be the one who should be submissive. Wu Chen, dumbfounded, claps his hands for her incredible speech, wishing Ruabing all the success. Wu Chen however reminds her about the reward she was going to give to him just a moment ago, so he demands a good massage by her as the reward. Ruabing teasingly tells Wu Chen that she can do it if Wu Chen begs for it. So, Wu Chen's Sigma mode activates as he tells her that in that case, he would just ask someone else to massage him. Ruabing's face turns angry as she questions whether he will get it done from Kuanying, but he denies it, telling that she is at work and he doesn't want to bother her. Ruabing gets very desperate as to who is he talking about. So he tells that the other woman is not as at the moment, but if he gets to know her a bit more, it will be easy for him to get a massage from her. He teases her even more, telling her that this girl is younger, prettier, and even richer than the Li family. Ruabing tries to take a guess, but Wu Chen tells her to stop guessing as she won't get it and he would put it on the phone speaker for her to listen. The call connects as we get to know that it is Miss Song, and Wu Chen introduces himself as a recent graduate from Donghai University. He has heard from his coursemate that she was gathering some songs, so he had a few with him. Miss Song referred to Wu Chen as her senior and asked whether he really had some songs, to which Wu Chen agreed. Miss Song was however a bit hesitant since she had received a lot of mediocre ones and that she herself could write better than the ones she received. Wu Chen tried to persuade her by telling her to give him a test run first in that case. Miss Song instead tells him to come over to the CBD cafe as she is free, to which Wu Chen agrees. Ruabing is sweating as she is in deep thought trying to guess about this woman who was a better beauty and is also a student at Donghai University with a rich family name Song. As a name struck in her head, both her eye popped out trying to know if this girl is from the Wu family. Wu Chen agrees telling that this girl is the daughter of Wu Yurong, which makes Ruabing shocked. She asks if he is indeed going to get Wu Yurong's daughter to massage him and whether he isn't afraid of Wu Yurong getting to know about it. Also stating that Wu Yurong is her idol as she is the third millionaire in Donghai City with a company named Senator Lan Apparel. And that after her divorce, she won the brutal business war with her ex-husband's family to get the custody of her daughter. Also brought down her ex-husband to death, gaining the title of the Black Widow that everyone fears in the business community of Donghai. Wu Chen tries to console Ruabing and tells her that he also knows that she had another name when she was younger named the First Beauty of Donghai. Ruabing gets possessive, telling Wu Chen to please reconsider his decision and not to act out of rush. Clenching her fists tight, having no other option other than to submit to Wu Chen's massage request as else he will try to mess up with the daughter of Wu Yurong and have a bad end. She gives up and tells Wu Chen to come over to her house tonight and she will give him a massage if that's what he wants. And not only a massage, but she can be all his, but he will have to let go of that girl named Song Xian. Wu Chen tries to clarify that maybe Ruabing misunderstood him as meeting with Song Xian and getting a massage are just excuses. So the desperate Ruabing tries to question him about what is he up to then. Wu Chen tries to calm her down and tells her to relax and not overthink. And then walks over bidding her farewell, waving his hand in the air. Later at the cafe, Wu Chen meets Miss Song where the stunning Song Xian officially introduces herself to Wu Chen. They have a firm handshake and greet each other. Song Xian gets over business directly asking if Wu Chen has brought over his work and where is it. Wu Chen asks her if she has a pen and paper, to which she asks about it. Wu Chen tells her that he would be writing it down for her, which makes Miss Song all starstruck. Wu Chen goes up with his act telling that it's all in his head, which Miss Song is barely able to digest but still hands him over her diary and a pen. 10 minutes later, Wu Chen finished writing the song named Soul Remedy. Miss Song is in deep thought as Wu Chen wrote a whole sheet for audio mixing and the instruments used without any trial in a software. However, after she sang her song in her mind with the audio tune Wu Chen wrote, she knew that Wu Chen's melody was much better than the one she received earlier. So, Wu Chen questions her if she wants to buy his melody, to which Miss Song agrees immediately with joy in her face. They go on around with the price of the melody, but Wu Chen doesn't agree with her low prices. So Miss Song asks Wu Chen if he is just there to mess around with her and if she looks like a fool to him. Wu Chen is unfazed and with a serious face demands 100,000 and that there is no negotiation for the price as he also has a few more of these songs. Miss Song immediately denies taking the song from Wu Chen as it is way overpriced. So, Wu Chen forwards her diary telling her that the deal ends then. He adds that even though they have met just once, he has trust in her that she would not steal. So, he won't tear off the lyrics page as her diary looks very good and it wouldn't look perfect if the pages were torn. He gets up and leaves the cafe. As he walks away, the annoyed Miss Song labels him as a weirdo. Wu Chen arrives at the Weishan music studio where he is greeted by the receptionist. He tells her that he wants to record a song, so he is going to rent the recording room for 3 hours. After every reincarnation from the past, the song he wrote named Soul Remedy had proven itself multiple times and will blow up one day or the other. Wu Chen is asked if he needs a tuner or a mixing engineer, but Wu Chen declines, stating he can do it himself. It's 3 hours now and the recording is done with a CD in Wu Chen's hand as he is going to publish the song when he goes home. At the parking garage, he gets a call from Kuan Ying who asks Wu Chen about his whereabouts and why didn't he answer her phone calls for 3 hours. He tells her that he was busy and asks her if there's any issue. So she informs that Wu Chen, the girl he met at the bar in the first scene, Kuan Ying got her an internship at Jinfu and so she won't be going abroad for studies. Wu Chen praises her for her good work as he drives out of the garage. Kuan Ying asks him if he won't be meeting her today, and if so, she will get very suspicious of him if he wasn't at home every day. They end up the call, but Wu Chen notices a black car following him. The black car doesn't have a Donghai City license plate, so he knows that it's Ding Rulong's men then. So, he speeds up the car as he still needs to publish the song he made. Wu Chen reaches his home and creates his account with his name so that Miss Song knows that it's him when she hears the song and publishes it. It's the next day early morning when Wu Chen comes over to his desktop to check over the song. But he suddenly notices that his house looks weird and that the patterns on the pot are facing a different direction. Even the pillow on the sofa is too far right from where he used to keep it. So, he picks up his phone as he forgot to pay some attention to the men sent by Ding Rulong and that these people must have installed a pinhole camera or a bug in his house. So, he lets them play as he calls over to Liir Ruat and talks all lovingly with her. But, Ruat is still over the massage issue and Miss Song, so she taunts him about it. Wu Chen tells that he will be there at her company before 9 to discuss about it. Wu Chen knows that the probability of something happening that day is pretty bad, but it's all in his own hands. As he drives a bit further, the black car pulls over in front of Wu Chen's car, and on top of that, there are 2 trucks on each side, so he cannot go left or right. This is a very classical way of showing a 100% confirmed accidental death. But they are trying to mess up with Wu Chen, who remembered all the vehicle's license plates, and so as soon as the accident happens, he resets the time. It's 7 a.m. of the same day and now it's his time to play. So he calls up Liir Ruat and tells him about Ding Rulong's men who are in Donghai and about the trucks and black cars information along with their license plate numbers. Ruat is shocked but then tells Wu Chen that he will take care of it. But Wu Chen tells him that he wants them alive, since if they remain hidden then it will be hard to find them, and if they come on the road, it will be easier to catch them. But then it would be hard to do anything on the road, so he thinks that it would be better in the basement parking lot of the shopping center. Ruat calls him and asks about him and that he has sent his men to search for them. Wu Chen tells that he is around the mall and that Ding Rulong's men have followed him there as well. Wu Chen knows everything but is waiting for Ding Rulong's backup plan. Ruat's right-hand man. All the drivers who wanted to attack Wu Chen had been captured and their vehicles all seized. Zhang Xuan, who was sent by Ding Rulong, informs his boss that all the men they had sent have been captured by Liir Ruat. Rulong is in no mood of giving up, so as soon as the door closed, all these men took out their weapons trying to get Wu Chen done and dusted. But, it was Wu Chen who with his eagle sharp eye grabbed them by their wrist, punched them in the face, kicked them and whatnot to get over them. At the same time, Ruat and her subordinate were hastily looking for Wu Chen as he wasn't picking up his phone, and she gets to know that he is in the elevator and the elevator is on the B1 floor. So, they quickly rush over to that floor to open the door of the lift, and just then they see one of Ding Rulong's men head falling on the ground. Ruat gets very tense seeing such a situation as we see Wu Chen all covered with sweat and bruises over his face and body, with Rulong's men lying unconscious. Ruat is shocked to see Wu Chen in such a situation with her bodyguard sweating profusely about what would happen to them. Wu Chen just stepped out of the elevator calling her as his dearest lady before falling down as he didn't have any strength left. Ruat grabs him just in time, but Wu Chen jokes around saying that her clothes would get dirty if she holds on to him. Ruat shuts him up saying he still has the energy to speak and tells them to be quick and go to the hospital. Wu Chen asks about the need to go to a hospital, but the now possessive Ruat is very concerned over Wu Chen telling him that he has blood all over his body and that he is injured. Wu Chen acts smart, declining her that he isn't injured and that she has been touching him everywhere and having fun with him. He teases her further, telling her that she spares no time having fun. Ruat is in awe as she realizes that Wu Chen has single-handedly dealt with 6 armed killers without suffering any injuries. Wu Chen agrees about it but tells her that he still got his clothes dirty, so she will have to go home to take a bath. But, before that, he has something he has to do when he pulls out a smartphone from one of the attacker's suit pockets and then clicks a photo of them lying unconscious on the ground. He sends the pictures to Zhang Xuan, who was Rulong's man, and just then the attacker's phone gets a call from Zhang himself. As he picks up the call, Zhang quickly asks if the work is done, assuming he is speaking to his men. But with a smirk, Wu Chen tells him that he has sent a picture and whether he has seen it or not. Zhang gets furious as to who is talking over the phone and how is his subordinate's phone under his command. But Wu Chen tells him, calling out his name, to send the pictures to Ding Rulong and to tell him that he only has his final days left. Wu Chen gives over the phone to one of Ruat's men and instructs him to call an ambulance for the one whose phone he had used as he want him alive. Wu Chen now tries to leave, telling her that he will take a temporary leave from Donghai for 2 days to go south. Ruat gets worried, questioning him if he is going to kill Ding Rulong and calling him honey, teases him, showing him that she has truly fallen in love with him. Wu Chen gets his mood activated as he tells that he doesn't feel good having a moment here and tells her to head home so that they can clean up and have a moment after it. Later at another apartment, someone seems not so happy. Oh, it is Miss Song who sees that a song has gotten into the weekly first and even her friend praises that song. She is shocked as that song has over 4,000 comments and all of them are very positive. Even professional singers are discussing that song, which is the same song Woo Chen had written the previous day. Her friend asks her about why she has handwritten music sheets as it is old-fashioned now. Miss Song is very furious as she cannot digest the fact, so she calls over to Woo Chen to confirm if it was he who had written and published that song. Woo Chen had gone for a shower when his phone rang with Ruabing sitting beside his phone on the sofa. This made Ruabing suspect that it must be from Ding Rulong, who must be trying something again on her love. She picks up the call and directly questions if he is looking for death now. But that call was from Miss Song, who was startled at such a statement, so she asks if it is not her senior Woo Chen's number, stating that she wanted to talk about the song. But Ruabing cuts her words, questioning her about which song, and she can say it all to her and she will let Woo Chen know. Miss Song tells Ruabing not to misunderstand her, asking her if she is Woo Chen's girlfriend and that there was a misunderstanding during her meeting yesterday with Woo Chen, so she wanted to apologize to him. Ruabing grills her about why she wants to apologize and for what reason, also questioning about the song thing. This Song is shocked, asking Ruabing if she really is Woo Chen's girlfriend, as she doesn't even know about his song. Ruabing asks her if she is suspecting her of lying, so she gets up and knocks on Woo Chen's door, calling him honey and telling him to open the door as it's his junior's phone call. Woo Chen takes the phone and gets to know it is from Miss Song, and they schedule a meeting for later. Woo Chen hands over the phone to Ruabing, telling her that it was from Song Shen, who wanted to buy his songs, but it seems that Ruabing had other plans as she loosens her dress. Clinging on to Woo Chen, praising and seducing him at the same time, but Woo Chen tells her that he is not done with his shower. Ruabing just goes all in with the kiss, wanting to know about what other things is he good at. Woo Chen warns her that she is trying to play with fire. Just then the phone ring, making Ruabing very angry as she curses that person for destroying their moment. She informs that it is from Ding Rulong and he tells her that it's alright and he is coming. Ruabing picks up the phone and Rulong instantly tries to explain that it was not he who did it but his subordinate Zhang Chuan, as that subordinate of his misunderstood his commands. Ruabing starts to humiliate Ding, stating how could those weaklings be his men, as they were too dumb and foolish and didn't even match young Master Ding's style. Ruabing starts to tease Ding by going and sitting over at Woo Chen's lap, where Woo Chen asks her about who is over the call and whether it is Ding Rulong. Ruabing agrees, stating that he is that same dumb bass, to which Woo Chen pounds her thighs, creating a loud sound that could be heard over the phone. He tells her to mind her attitude, as no intelligent woman uses profanity. Ruabing plays along, telling that it hurts and it has all turned red, making Rulong grind his teeth in anger. Woo Chen tells her that she must know her mistake and that she deserves a little spanking, to which Ruabing tells that she is sorry and she won't speak profanity and not to spank her. Rulong couldn't stand anymore as he smashes his phone on the ground and even going ahead and crushing the phone with his foot. Ruabing tells that he hung up and it seems that he smashed his phone, questioning Woo Chen if Ding would even be able to survive it. Ruabing is in the mood to play as she deviates the attention to what Woo Chen had talked previously about spanking. Woo Chen raises his hands, telling her that he is all clean. He also informs her that he will be meeting up with Woo Yurong later, so she might also call her, and tells her to cooperate with her. Ruabing questions him about Woo Yurong, as it must be Song Xian who must be contacting him. Woo Chen tells her that it is Miss Song but also her mother Miss Woo Yurong, as they must meet each other the same day. Just then Ruat barges into the room, calling out for both of them, and then apologizes to Woo Chen about the incident that happened to him. Also going to such lengths to tell him that it won't happen again, and asking him about how many bodyguards he need. Ruabing stops her little brother's speech midway, warning him not to go out to take revenge. But Ruat counters it, saying that it has happened multiple times now and Woo Chen was lucky to fight back and didn't get hurt. He asks about what would happen the next time and that no one can promise anything, so he will have to get Ding Rulong dead. Ruabing gets up, telling Woo Chen that since he is her little brother's family now, he must talk some sense into him. Woo Chen asks Ruat if that Lao Dao is alright, to which Ruat informs that the one he wanted alive is okay now. So Woo Chen tells that he will then have a good talk with that guy, which makes Ruat want to know about what he's going to talk about. Whether that person is holding on to some important secrets that can bring Ding Rulong to his end. Woo Chen agrees with him, also stating that he will be the one accompanying Woo Chen when he goes to talk with Lao Dao, but for that, he must first promise his sister not to make any irrational move. Ruatai agrees, stating that he will listen to him as long as Ding Rulong can be eliminated, letting Ruabing finally breathe a sigh of relief. Finally solving the issue, he tells both of them to excuse him as he has some business to attend to. Sometime later in the evening, Wu Chen arrives at the meeting point for Miss Song, and there is an informant who is spying on Wu Chen. Wu Chen finds Miss Song and greets her, taking her by surprise as she is barely able to speak something from her mouth. Wu Chen asks her to speak, to which she questions if his family runs a small family restaurant. Wu Chen agrees, stating it is a noodle shop in a small town. Miss Song questions if he is a sugar baby of her girlfriend, as his girlfriend sounded like a 40-year-old. And the reason that he is selling his song at such a high price is to make money so that he can get rid of her, as he didn't even let her know about the song he published. Wu Chen with a thug look calls her director Wu, asking her whether it isn't a bit rude to invite him over like this. Miss Yurong tells that she doesn't understand his objective, but the one who's being rude is Wu Chen, isn't it? She orders her bodyguard to get out, and as he walks by Wu Chen, he warns Wu Chen not to try anything else, the consequences would be dire. Miss Yurong tells Wu Chen to take a seat, asking him about what is his purpose with his daughter and hopes that it isn't related to money. Also adding whether Miss Ruabing knows about his meeting with her daughter. Wu Chen asks her about why she cares so much about her daughter who was given birth by someone else. This shocks Miss Yurong, as she just couldn't say anything. Wu Chen then starts with his history classes, telling her about how she was forced to marry at the age of 21, and then she made a deal with her father about no one would get her way after giving birth to a child. And after her marriage, she always hid a knife under her pillow and slept in a separate room with her husband, and every time he tried to force her, she would threaten him with her knife. But then every morning she would play the innocent card and use excuses like not looking pretty or having stretch marks on her face so that he doesn't get mad at her out of pity. Wu Chen commends her for her smart tricks, also stating that she had always given her husband an image that as long as he could give more time to her, it just then she will be able to accept him and make him say yet to have someone else give birth to a child instead of her. And after the child was born, she denied all her promises and turned against her husband's family, and what happened after it is known by everyone. With a small smirk on her face, Miss Yurong pities as to how her husband is dead too. She also tells Wu Chen to feel free to tell everyone about it if this is what he wishes to tell, and then they should talk about her daughter. With a cute bossy face, she warns him that even though she wasn't the one who gave birth to Miss Song, her daughter still has her blood. So if he is thinking of doing anything bad, then it is best to give up. Wu Chen is damn confident as he tells her that she should look into the matter closely, as she would soon realize that his focus is not her daughter but Miss Yurong herself, as he has some thoughts about her. Miss Yurong tucking in her hair, stating that young people nowadays have become very ambitious, and she wonders what kind of thoughts he has. Wu Chen tells that it is complicated, as this might seem out of the blue, but Miss Yurong always had her guard up, especially towards men. So this is why he would have to use this type of way for him to meet her. Miss Yurong gets up and starts to walk slowly towards Wu Chen, asking him about how complicated could the adult thing be and whether Miss Ruabing knows about what he is doing. Does she know about all these complicated thoughts he has about her? Wu Chen with a calm look tells that Ruabing of course knows about it. Going closer to Wu Chen's face, with a seductive and threatening pose, Miss Yurong tells that if that's the case, meeting face to face, then she can go into the details and let her know what kind of complicated thoughts he has for herself. Wu Chen asks Miss Yurong whether she knows Ding Rulong and that he is going after Wu Chen. Miss Yurong tells that she of course knows him, but what does that have to do with her? Wu Chen with a deadly vibe tells that he is going to end Ding Rulong. Miss Yurong seems very calm and amazed as she greets him good luck with it. Wu Chen tells that he is there to advise her to withdraw her investment from the Chuan Hang fundings while she can. Miss Yurong calls it ridiculous, as this matter is between him, the Li family, and Ding Rulong. So what does it have to do with her and the Chuan Hang fundings? Wu Chen explains to her that the Chuan Hang fundings and the Tong Haiwan tradings and all the businesses that she came to establish outside of Senator Lan Group will go down within the next 5 years. All because of him. Miss Yurong seems a bit interested in knowing further as she questions Wu Chen about whether he wants to mess with her. But Wu Chen denies it, stating that he only wants to mess with Ding Rulong, but she is the one getting tangled up in this mess. Miss Yurong tells that she has no contact with Ding Rulong and she is also not interested in what happened between the two of them, but Wu Chen stops her, telling her that she actually has to know about it. Since the biggest shareholder of the Chuan Hang fundings is Wan Kuei, who is also the second shareholder of Bei Wang Funding. And the actual owner of Bei Wang Fundings is Ding Wei Feng. Miss Yurong tells that people call him the third Master Ding as he is the core member of the second generation in the Ding family and the third son of the old Master Ding. Wu Chen tells that he is also Ding Rulong's third uncle. Miss Yurong yet again tries to distance herself from the mess, stating that she has no correlation with Bei Wang Fundings or Ding Wei Feng. Wu Chen tells that maybe she doesn't understand how deep the bond is between Huo Wanshu and the Ding family, as once something happens to the Ding family, this earthquake of theirs is going to affect her through Huo Wanshu. This catches Miss Yurong's immediate attention as she finally gets what Wu Chen meant. So, she asks if he is trying to mess with the Ding family. Back in her mind, she knows that he is Ruobing's boyfriend and not even a member of the Li family, but is confused as to how is he going to mess with the Ding family with no background. Wu Chen tells that Ruobing likes her a lot and sees Miss Yurong as her role model. So this is why he is here to advise her. Miss Yurong thinks that it is an absurd excuse and absolute nonsense. And since he has mentioned Li Ruobing's name, it is a good time to testify it. So, she picks out her phone and dials Ruobing's number. Upon connecting, both of them exchange greetings. Miss Yurong informs her that her boyfriend Wu Chen is there with her, to which Ruobing tells that she knows about it as he had mentioned about it to her before. Miss Yurong asks whether she knows that her boyfriend is trying to mess with the Ding family and gets a yes from Ruobing. Miss Yurong tries to speak something, but Ruobing calls out to her, stating that Wu Chen had directly spoken with her father, so she is unclear about it and she will have to speak with Wu Chen about the details. This startles Miss Yurong as Wu Chen could go around Ruobing and directly work with the Li family. She thinks about, wasn't it the Li family who was working with the Ding family, and what kind of abilities does Wu Chen have? So she thinks to have a good talk with Wu Chen to know more about it. She tells of the wine glasses to Wu Chen. She sits just beside Wu Chen trying to smell the aroma of the wine she poured in her glass. Wu Chen spent half an hour explaining the pros and cons of the whole Ding Rulong and Dong Yuan Tao incident to Wu Yurong. Miss Yurong leans closer towards Wu Chen, asking him to have more wine. You can clearly see what she's trying to do as she tells that this bottle is very old, from the XYZ place. But just then she stumbles upon her high heels with a wine bottle in her hand. She is just going to fall, but Wu Chen came just in time to grab Miss Yurong from the back, telling her to be careful. Miss Yurong's face turns red with such an awkward situation as she is good as it would be a pity if she fell. Miss Yurong is completely blushing at this point, apologizing, stating that she might have gone too fast with her drink. Wu Chen knows that she might not put her trust in men, but her preference is normal and her desire isn't low as well. She is the same as Li Ruobing, who wants to have the finest man beside her. More importantly, it is to get in physical contact with her, as since the requirement is fulfilled, he has the rhythm held in his hands. Wu Chen takes the lead, stating that since she is getting a bit tipsy, so they will end it there, to which she agrees on cutting down the alcohol. Also acknowledging that it was a pleasure meeting him. But even in such a state, she tells that she isn't done here, to which Wu Chen tells her to watch out as she might fall. Miss Yurong tells that it is alright as it's the high heels that are getting uncomfortable, and so she removes it, getting on her bare foot. Wu Chen immediately extends his hands and picks Miss Yurong in her arms, which startles her, mentioning that the floor is not clean and it's also very cold. Miss Yurong is all red like a tomato, but is still thinking about Wu Chen's acting as he has picked her up in a bridal pose. And she has never met anyone in her 40 years of life with such courage. Wu Chen places her on a couch as she hesitantly watches Wu Chen in anger. Wu Chen pours himself a glass, telling her that if she still wants to drink and talk, then they can continue it there. Miss Yurong is straight to the point as she calls out Wu Chen for purposefully carrying her to the couch. This concludes the latest chapter, and we will be continuing it from here in the next episode.